Let's move on to defining functions with parameters. So these functions will allow us to pass in arguments which will change the behavior of our function. So thus far, we've only created functions without any parameters. That means no arguments can be passed into our function. That means they only have one specific task that can be created. We cannot change that task based on the inputs to the function. All right, so some terminology that you're probably wanting to get cleared up right now is this difference between parameter and argument. So I'm going to use those two words. They are very closely related, but they are different. So parameter is the variable name in the function signature. The function signature is just this thing at the top. That's the first line of the function. So the parameters are just the names of these variables over here. So param1, param2, param3. The arguments are the values that are passed to the function. So say we define this function, func, that has 3 parameters. That means it can take in 3 arguments. The arguments are when you call the function. So like this, it'll be 5, the string Python, and true. So the arguments can always change. I could, change all of these values, but the parameters will stay the same. They will always be param1, param2, and param3. So I will be using those terms interchangeably. Sometimes I get them mixed up myself just when I'm talking, but you should know that there is a difference. All right, let's see this in action by creating another hello function, except this time it will accept a first name as an argument. All right, so before we had def hello, we'll call this hello2. It's going to take 1 argument, so the parameter will be called first underscore name, and then the argument will be whatever is passed to it when we actually call it. So again, it's going to be a 1-line function. This time I'm going to use an f string to interpolate or substitute in this first line, this string. So I'll say hello, first name, nice to meet you, like this. All right, so this will be a different function, hello2. It'll accept this first name. This is a variable. Whenever we call it, it'll just place whatever value is given as that variable. So that's the argument right here, and it'll print it out. All right, so let's go down here. And if we call hello2 without any arguments, it's going to say we're missing one of them. So we're missing one positional argument. We'll talk about what this word positional means, but we have to supply it, and we did not do that. So let's just say Johnny is going to be our single argument that we pass here. So hello, Johnny, nice to meet you. So the first name parameter will now be assigned to this string Johnny, and then it'll just simply place it in there and then print it out. Okay, so one thing that you must know in these functions is that these parameters have a scope. Okay, so parameter scope, same thing as this variable scope. So I'm going to talk about this word scope. This just essentially refers to where in our program we can access these parameters. So parameters can only be accessed within the body of the function. All right, so if I try to access first name like this, it's not going to still be Johnny. It's going to be nothing. We're going to have a name error. So Python doesn't know what this name means, this variable name. It only knows first name within the body of the function itself. So first name is only valid in here. Once we get back to our normal code, then it just doesn't know what this is. Okay, so that's very important. You can't just access this outside of the body of the function. It's only valid in here, and same thing for any other parameters. Okay, so that is our first function that we've created with a parameter. It accepted a single argument over here, the string Johnny, and then printed out the message.